Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us today. We haven't seen each other in a while, and it's been even longer since we've met through Zoom. So really excited for the next 3 days. I can tell you that a lot of hard work has gone into putting this meeting together, this shift meeting together. And I'd like to thank the crew, everyone working behind the scenes who's been working very hard, very diligently to put everything together to bring us here today. So as you know, Shift is basically a pro bono organization. We've been meeting for well over 10 years now, which is very exciting. We pride ourselves in being a meeting space and connecting, being a place where we can connect everyone. And we have been doing that for a long time now, and we thank all of our members for making time to join us every year. To begin today, we are going to have Spontaneous the Poet. But before I bring her on, I would like to encourage you to stay until the end. On Thursday, at the very end, we have a very exciting announcement to make about our next meeting next year. So stick around for that. Okay, so Spontaneous the Poet is a multi-award-winning Kenyan-based poet, founder of Female Poets Kenya Hub, and the co-founder of Annika Initiative. Guided by her life mantra, live, live, love, she uses her art, floetry, fusion of poetry and music, to educate, entertain, and motivate solely towards influencing positive change in the society and foster healing through art therapy. I am Kagiso Sekgomolope. I am the chair of the Shift board, and welcome Spontaneous the Poet.
Young blood bleeds. When a young blood bleeds by the bullet, in your silence, there goes a lineage cut off from you. When a young blood bleeds by the endless strokes, in your silence, there goes a blue uniform walks scot-free. When a young blood bleeds in the trenches of fields in your silence, there goes a Stone family quenched in the stench that is wrath. Their goals are ticking bomber waiting to explode. Here comes a generation ready for justice in utter silence. Their goals are youths like you and I, carry a heavy cross and loss. So when a young blood bleeds, when a young blood bleeds by the sword, let your hearts be so disturbed that your sleeping equates to the pain of a robbery. Let your souls be so perturbed that your rising appease the spirit's throb. Let your cries be so loud until justice is found. Because when a young blood bleeds, when a young blood bleeds, when a young blood bleeds, gone is a son to a mother who's questioning herself for being alive. Gone is a son to a father who's ready to gather up an army and go to war. Gone is a brother to a sibling who's ready to pull the trigger on a shoot-to-kill command. Gone is a human to a friend who's ready to cause a stampede. Gone is a human to an acquaintance who's ready to roll up a system until the perpetrator pays. Gone is a citizen to a nation who's ready to put despotism in its place. Gone is a state ready to put this flawed system out of the color state. When a young blood bleeds unjustly and we all feel the pain as should, become angered as should, take action as should, only then shall a nation rise to defeat the unlawful acts of a flawed system. Only then shall their deaths be our resurrection. Nalilia, nalilia, Spontaneous, the poet.
What a beautiful voice. Thank you so much, Spontaneous, for this beautiful video. Such powerful impact. And now I invite Spontaneous, the poet, to tell us something about her experience. Thank you, Spontaneous. We welcome her.
Every time I watch that video, may we all just take 1 minute of silence and we just take a deep breath in.
Yeah, of course, I get that.
And we take a deep breath out. One last deep breath in. One last deep breath out. Oh, thank you so much, Rita, for inviting me. Special thanks to the Shift team and for everyone who's listening in. I'm so thankful that I get an opportunity to engage with you on matters artistic freedom, sharing my own story. And thank you for everybody who's listening and for tuning in. So my name is Spontaneous the Poet. I have been doing artivism for the past 10 years. It's interesting that Kagiso mentioned that you're 10 years in, and I'm also turning 10 years and celebrating it in December 14th. Imagine a world where you could be anything, where you have the freedom not only to create, but to heal, to challenge, to uplift. In that world, art is entertainment, art is edutainment, it's the lamp within all our darknesses. It's a voice for the silenced. It's a comfort for the hurting. It was a comfort for me when I started using art for social change way back when I was really young. And I was going through a whole phase of bullying, and art became the space I could release. It's been always a mirror that's reminding us of what is possible. That world is what we envision is not a fantasy. It is now. It has been our world. This has been my world as an artivist. But imagine this world being broken. The past 2 years in Kenya, we've been really tested. I'm sure the whole world knows about the finance bill protests. We have had so many protests back in the day, but for me, this comes in handy for the past 2 years. And to be able to see how art has been used to speak to the situations that we've been experiencing, be it through music. When thousands went on the streets during this finance bill, you could see people using paintings, people using drawings, illustrations to just speak about the frustrations they're experiencing and the challenges we were having financially, and imagining that this life that we're already experiencing would be worse when the finance bill would have been acknowledged was something that really took us down to the streets. And even as artists, as social media influencers, as content creators, we brought in together the different forms of art we had to just amplify and rally towards making governance better, and with with that withstanding, with a, there's the aspect of where we actually lost so many people in the process. And as much as art continues to speak to hearts, but also the realities in the ground, recognition that we lost the likes of Rex Kanyike Masai. He was the first person to have lost his life in the protest. I personally lost one of my friends was shot during the protests. And it's been a year since. And in December, in October as well, he's still fundraising to be able to get monies to sort his medical bill. And it's just a continuous reminder that even as artivists, we use our voice, yes, to speak, but there's also the fear of what could happen in the process, But then again, if you don't speak out, then what? Because then you have to ask yourself, what really is your purpose in this lifetime? And this reminds me of the different African trailblazers that we've had over the years and even globally, the likes of Fela Kuti in Nigeria, the likes of Stella Nyanzi in Uganda, the Bobby Wines, Boniface Mwangi in Kenya. Amidst the torture, the fear, those are the people we look up to and say, oh, well, they didn't give up on the photography to shed light on what's actually happening on the ground amidst this fear, The likes of I mean, if you think about Salman Rushdie in India, having been forced to go into exile and still pushing through. Need I mention as recent as Kendrick Lamar when we're talking about the Black Lives Matter? Every the niche is small, true, but their voices have really played a role in ensuring that good governance and democracy is taken into account. But this is not without, again, its challenges. You know, the thought of being arrested. We do it afraid, we do it scared, but we do it boldly as well. Because the question is, if you do not, who will? And when there's a calling, there's a calling. You can't just say now that things are thick and thin, I'm just going to hide. You cannot hide when it's a calling. And so it is true that we experienced a lot of self-censorship. If you look at the statistics from UNESCO, they were talking about 74% of the women self-centered themselves because of the fear and the violation that they were experiencing, you know. But I keep asking myself, even with with the statistics, um, what's the worst? To not live by your own truth, or to stay and fake that these things are not existing, you know? And I agree that the statistics can be really scary. I mean, think about it. Finance bill had like 60 plus people killed. Of course, we as the artists who are actually out there and are vocal like that also imagine we could probably get there. We had over 600 arbitrary arrests. I mean, that could be you, that could be me, that could be everyone here. But the most beautiful thing beyond the whole fear is recognizing that right now we are if you look at the Gen Alphas and the Gen Zs, and you look at the population, for instance, in Kenya, 62% are the young population. And what reaches to the soul is the art, you know? And if you think about the older generation, the baby bloomers, if you look at the Gen X's, it's the art that speaks to the soul, be it through music, be it through spoken word, be it through what we've just watched today. And so I am reminded tons and tons of time that art is both a balm and it's a sword. That you will heal, and it will help unmask corruption. It will expose brutality. It will spark accountability. It will do all these things. But most importantly, it will speak to truth. Because of what use is life if you do not live it as per your calling and as per the belief you hold dear. And so this is not, I believe this is not just my story, but this is our stories. And I'm just hoping in these few minutes that I have spoken, I don't know how long I still have, that only you know your calling, you know? And if your calling is to is to heal, your calling is to question, your calling is to speak, do not let fear silence you. Allow me to just derive something off of the scripture that speaks to me a lot. Remember when the story of David, when he was going to be king and then he was being followed around, it didn't stop him from actually believing that he could still get it done, even if he had to go in hiding and still get it done. And so in the same way, we do it scared, but we do it with the belief that we are changing not only our lives, but everybody out there. And I am thankful that we have organizations like Safe Havens, the likes of PANAF, the likes of Salam, Defenders Coalition, that are also holding true and holding different human rights defenders and artivists, and PAWA 254, to be able to help them in ways that they can, but to continue with the conversation around living justfully in a world that can sometimes be very unjust. So yeah, I think I used my 15 minutes nicely. And I welcome any questions, Any thoughts? Yes, back to you, Rita.
Would you like to tell us something about the video? Where did you shoot it? Like your experience, because it's so powerful. I was like really in awe with the video, with your performance.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rita. Backstory. 3 years ago, we had a case in Kenya around the Kianjakoma brothers. They had dreadlocks on. And during that period, so many young men were actually killed who had dreadlocks. I equally also had dreadlocks. And it definitely came with the assumption that they're either criminals or that they are just, they are wayward, which was not really the case. And I was at home and I felt so hurt. I penned down this poem. That was like 3 years back. And then this year, no, 2020, we're in 2025. So 2024, I happened to perform this piece right before the protests began. I bet it was just coincidental. We were in the wave of speaking to change. And we've done a project on the impact of artivism on police brutality. And I happened to be one of the project leads at that time. And when we were going to the communities and listening to them share their stories around police brutality and how art has really played a role in enabling them to speak this out, we got an opportunity to share this research. And while I was actually leading the artivism segment, we got support to be able to, because I performed this piece and we got support through IFA to be able to now do the video. And something interesting about this video is the woman who has the small dreadlocks also lost her son to police brutality. And the guy there's a guy towards the end who also has dreadlocks. He was shot a year after. That was he was shot, no, the same year, 2024, during Mashujaa concert, when he was going for this concert. And I realized, for me, it's very personal because it speaks to real experiences and it carries the souls and the hearts of the people who've really experienced the issues on police brutality on a fast basis, on a primary basis. And so whenever I look at this video, I don't just see the words alone. I see the woman, because I remember calling her and asking her, would it be okay if you were part of this video? And she said yes. And I asked her why, and she said it's the only way I feel I can heal and I can atone the death of my son, and I can speak to truth. And interestingly enough, the day this video was screened in Kenya, it was during the exhibition of Shadow to Strength. It so happened to also be screened at the UN New York Summit to spur a discussion around social change. And it was used as a tool for a discourse at Artivist University when they were talking about social justice in the different countries. So it's been, and it's the same video that actually put me in trouble with the state when I was having an interview around good governance during this time of the protests. And my family called me and they were so scared. And of course, it's allowed that there's fear when you love someone and you fear for their lives. But then that also brought a lot of conflict around myself as an artist. Do I then silence myself so then my family feel is also comfortable that I am alive? Or do I speak to truth and be very vulnerable and very honest so that many more people find the power and the strength and the will to actually speak to what they deserve? Like a just society, like human rights is something that is for everybody. Everybody, the constitution itself states that the sovereignty of the power belongeth to the people. So yeah, this video has just been that one thing that has led to a whole myriad of conversations, and it's very dear to me. It's the one video that gives me power. Yeah.
Thank you so much for choosing the bravest part. It, of course, like it's so easy to say for us, but the courage it requires, like only you know about it. So thank you
Truly.
for choosing the right path. Thank you for choosing the bravest path. And thank you for being a part of this, this session right now. I will just remind everybody that Spontaneous, the poet, she has her portfolio in the artistic portfolio number 2. And you can see her bio, her other work. There are links, there are videos, there are documents about her. So go to her booth, like, ask questions, chat. And thank you so much, Spontaneous. And best of luck with whatever you do.
Thank you so much, Rita.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
I can also remind you all that after our last session, the state of artistic freedom in Africa, we have an open floor. So please stay back and join and discuss the session and just engage in our discussion.